Trip Optimizer is our probably most successful product to date. It's an automatic cruise control for a locomotive, but in fact it's better than a cruise control. It's more like a locomotive and puts cruise control on it. But in fact, it's probably our most successful product to date from the digital portfolio, creating trains. What we want to do is we want to take as much driver variation out of a locomotive, and every driver runs a train differently. And because a computer can run a train much better than an operator, we have what we call our Trip Optimizer system. We're currently just under 10,000 systems sold. We've been installed on over 7,500 locomotives, and again, it's worldwide. We're in China, we're in North America, South America. We're pretty much all over the globe right now with Trip Optimizer. Everywhere there's a GE locomotive, we're putting Trip Optimizer on there. So Trip Optimizer is you initialize a trip. How do you do this? We get the data from the railroads. The railroads will send us information to our back office, and that back office information is how many locomotives are on the train, how many cars, what's the makeup of the cars, are half of them full or 50% of them full. We get a full, complete makeup of what the train looks like, and we send that to the locomotive in a wireless pack. And we can do that through a GSMR radio network. Anywhere that you have cellular coverage, at a minimum, you can get that data packet. So we send the data packet is we initialize a trip. When we initialize a trip, the data packet has a unique identifier, pretty much like your record locator for your airline. It's individual to your, to your reservation. So this train ID represents a locomotive group that's going from Destin, Florida down to Key West, Florida, which is a trip of about 300 miles. We're going to use auto dynamic brake. We do auto dynamic brake. The operator doesn't have to do any braking from a dynamic brake perspective. And we have independent mode here. So we accept the trip data, and then you see a train setup right here. It'll tell you have 3 locomotives running, 3 locomotives, 7,200 feet of locomotives, 5,200 tons, what kind of brakes you have, total cars, loaded and empties. We accept the train data, and then we put in temporary slow orders. So everybody on every railroad doesn't have a straight run through. Maybe from milepost 101 to milepost 115, you're doing some work. So instead of being able to go 40 kilometers an hour, you can only go 30 kilometers. So that's in the data packet, and the system knows that. The computer knows that. So we accept all the different slow orders in here. We accept the restrictions, and then we're ready to go. So before this, the operator doesn't have this on any screen right now, but now with Trip Optimizer, he has a forward-looking. All right, so now we're ready to accept the trip. Here you'll see the next 30 kilometers, the operator can see what's coming up, what his terrain looks like, what his restrictions are, current milepost, and the operators love that. They don't have this on. If you don't have a Trip Optimizer screen, you don't have this currently on your locomotive. So we start the trip, and we're not in automatic operation yet. All the railroads, they wanted from 0 to 18 kilometers. So when they go out of a yard, from 0 to 18 kilometers, they want to be in manual control. Once you hit 18 kilometers, you'll get a little item that'll pop up on your screen that says auto control is available. So at 18 kilometers, you select auto control, and you can literally run that train as long as you don't have any kind of unexpected signal disruptions. You can literally run that train the rest of the way in automatic control. So, give you an idea here. So, like I said, when you're below 12 miles an hour or 18 kilometers, you can't see Trip Optimizer doesn't work yet. As soon as you get to 12 miles per kilometer, it works. So you start up. So you see here we're moving right now. Oh, that's much better. Now we're at 12 miles an hour, and you got auto control available. And what the railroads do is as soon as that becomes available, the guy pushes the auto control, he accepts it, and he's in automatic control. And what's great about the system is we can tell the railroad operator at the end of the run how much time the operator was in auto control available time and how much he actually ran at auto control. When we first started out, years ago, about 5-6 years ago, when we were testing this out there, we were at 40-45% in auto control. Now almost every one of our customers is 90+%. And if you think about it, you're taking out any kind of driver error that can occur from 18 kilometers or to the end of the route when you go to 18 kilometers and you're coasting back into the thing. And there's very few violations or accidents that occur from 0 to 18 kilometers when you're coming out of a station. So you're effectively taking out almost all of the risk that an operator can provide to a locomotive. So it's...
The quick override.
The operator, we always say, is in charge of the train. So we have a demo we'll show you later on if you come back to the booth. But if you come up to an unexpected red signal, you have to stop the train, right? So the operator will stop the train. As soon as that train stopped and the signal clears, you go back, start moving. As soon as you hit 18 kilometers, the auto control light shows up again. And the railroads are adamant that they want their people in automatic operation. You know, when we sold the system, we sold it as a fuel savings package. So the railroads right now get from 3 to 17% fuel savings. Because if you think about it, no operator can do 12 million calculations in his head a second, right? They can't do it. So your best operator, so a lot of systems that are based on scripting and everything else, they're based on what they call a golden run. But GE contends there's no such thing as a golden run because the wind's different. Every variable is different. The load is different. How that train handles in different environments is not the same every time. So wind, speed, everything else. GE's system will actually do in a train, so on this run, which is about 300 kilometers, you'll do between 15 and 20 total recalculations. And if you give us bad data, if you tell us, for example, that you have 70 cars and 60 of them are loaded, 10 of them are empty, when we start going, after about 8 to 10 minutes, the system realizes that that's not really a true number. We will do a recalculation based on what we think it is. So you'll always get a best run that way. So now you're in activated auto control. The operator's moving along, and like I said, he sees a screen and he can actually move it all the way across. And like I said, if there's a speed restriction in front, the operator's always in control of the train.
I think we've got the tendency to force the operator
right
to kind of lose focus and probably, miss an overriding way or two.
Well, here's the situation. The North American railroads, which have over 2,000 systems installed on a lot of the North American systems, they retest their drivers every so often. They found that there's no de-skilling taking place, like you say. Two things. So answer your question as part of it. There's no de-skilling taking place. The other thing is we're saying is the operator should be looking outside, looking for obstructions. He shouldn't be playing around, activating the train. He should be looking outside for obstructions. We've had those questions come up in Korea, for example. They said, well, if the guy's in auto operation, he's going to be on his cell phone texting. Well, I can't stop that, right? But most railroads, if you do that, you get fired. Unfortunately, they say in Korea there has to be an accident before they can fire the guy. So, there's just some common sense items on here. So, you can do that. You can do that. Okay.